Hey everyone, Blitzball Champ is back here with a brand new video here on YouTube. We're gonna do some more Carolina Panthers talk. It was just released on ESPN by David Newton. The projected 53-man roster for the Carolina Panthers, and I wanted to take some time to go through it and kind of try to pick and choose the starters out of this bunch or how the lineup will look, just based on what they have listed and just my thoughts and my feelings on each of these positions. As we're getting closer and closer to week one. It's right around the corner. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Let's get started. Of course, we're going to go with offense first, and we're going to look at the quarterbacks. Of course, the projection is three quarterbacks with Teddy Bridgewater, Will Greer, and PJ Walker. Of course, the surefire guaranteed one is Teddy Bridgewater will be the starting quarterback. Now, apparently, it's been kind of close between PJ Walker and Will Greer, but lately it seems like PJ Walker has the slight edge in the battle for that backup spot. Um, I mean, with how PJ Walker has done in the XFL, and the fact that he's also played under Coach Matt Rule at Temple, versus how poorly Will Greer did last year. Some would say, PJ Walker would probably be the best fit at backup. But I don't know. Like, I would probably go with PJ Walker as the backup. I know, if anything, this, Will Greer has another shot. You know, he has another shot. Me personally, I really miss Tyler Haneke or Taylor Haneke. I don't know if I said his name right, but I miss him, to be honest with you. But but yeah, I think PJ Walker is going to take that backup quarterback role, and Will Greer will be the third string. But I mean, you never know. Supposedly, Matt Rule won't make a decision until this Friday on who has secured that backup quarterback role. But at least we know for sure Teddy Bridgewater is our guy. He's the field general, so that was pretty much easy. But but yeah, so that's it for the quarterbacks. For running back, they have projected, of course, Christian McCaffrey, Mike Davis, Reggie Bonifant, and Alex Arma at the fullback position. I mean, I feel like this is pretty accurate. I mean, I know we had picked up a few guys. I believe Trenton Cannon was somebody that they were looking at, but I don't know. I know definitely Christian McCaffrey, Alex Arma, and Reggie Bonifant. I feel like are a surefire, considering we've seen flashes of Reggie Bonifant last year, um, getting a couple of snaps, and also on the special teams. But I really feel like this would be a great opportunity for either Mike Davis or Reggie Bonifant to really kind of share the load with Christian McCaffrey. So I'm hoping that's how that goes. I don't know that much about Mike Davis, but I like what Reggie Bonifant has. So Mike Davis has the experience edge. So we'll have to see. From my thoughts, it seems like you can't really go wrong with either Bonifant or Red or Mike Davis as the second string running back, and of course Alex Arma, he's the sole fullback, so that won't be anything different. than before. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. But I mean, we'll have to see. I really just hope that somebody will share the load with McCaffrey. I mean, it says last year he played 93.35% of the snaps and had about a total of 400 plus touches. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, we got a franchise running back in Christian McCaffrey, and we want him to stay healthy. Be productive, but also to stay healthy as well, because he does not need to have another a thousand season to be successful. I mean, I'm not hating on the fact that he did that. I mean, that's excellent, of course, but the main thing is I really feel like somebody has to step up to share that load. And I really hope Mike Davis or Reggie Bonifant um, is able to do that. So I'm okay with either of those two backing up Christian McCaffrey and sharing the load. All right, wide receivers. Now, wide receivers, me personally, I feel like this is probably one of the hardest ones this year to really iron out. But they have projected seven wide receivers to start the season. Here's what they have projected. The first three are pretty much a given. Um, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel. Those are pretty much a given. Pharaoh Cooper, Seth Roberts, Ishmael Hyman, and Cam Phillips. I believe Pharaoh Cooper is definitely on the rise to be the return specialist, who's known for his return specialist ways. So I feel like he's going to probably secure kickoffs and punt returns. So that should be fine with me. Um, the others, Seth Roberts, of course, he's in the concussion protocol. So I think, you know, by the time we start the season, his health is going to be a factor to really kind of determine whether he'll be effective or not. Because I mean, supposedly, if he can, clear the protocol, you know, if they go with any sort of spread formations, maybe throw Seth Roberts into the mix. Don't really know that much about Ishmael Hyman, and Cam Phillips was a recent wide receiver that they acquired who also played in the XFL on the same team as PJ Walker. I believe was his highest rated, his highest, pretty much his top receiver on his team. So I mean, who knows? Maybe Cam Phillips can blow up. I don't know what other specialties he may have. I don't know if he would work well on kickoff or punt returns. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see who's that supporting cast. That will end up making the team for the receivers. I mean, I initially was thinking um, maybe instead of Ishmael Hyman, maybe Tommy Lee Lewis, but I don't know. Like, I don't think this is a bad projection. It just is really going to come down to like health and just who's the remaining that's been the most productive. Because in a way, I could say the first four names: DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, Pharaoh Cooper. I feel like probably should be a given. With Pharaoh Cooper being special teams. But I mean, Seth Roberts. I mean, he was kind of one that was an early acquisition, but he's been in the concussion protocol, so hopefully he can clear that. Cam Phillips. I mean, he has that chemistry with PJ Walker. So I mean, who knows? They've kind of had to shuffle some things around due to injuries. So I mean, I don't think this is a bad projection. It might not end up being the accurate one come 2 weeks, but hey, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. All right, tight ends. The projected tight ends are Ian Thomas, Chris Manhertz, Temerick Hemingway. Now, I kind of had high hopes for Seth Devolve, but he got released. So I mean, honestly, this is going to be interesting. Um, should be seeing more Chris Manhertz. Now that with no Greg Olson, Manhertz has the opportunity to really be that supporting role as a tight end, especially being known for being a blocking tight end. Uh, it'll really be interesting to see how these tight ends will work in Joe Brady's offense. Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, and then also Ian Thomas. Like, honestly, this needs to be the year for Ian Thomas. He needs to shine this year. Um, if he doesn't shine this year, I don't know. I don't know if they go another direction after this season if he doesn't really produce. Because, not having Greg Olson and him and, us having a replacement post Greg Olson is going to be difficult. So this this is Ian Thomas' best chance to step up and deliver. And I feel like it's do or die for Ian Thomas. Chris Manhertz, in the run game seems to be where he shines. Temerick Hemingway, I mean, we'll have to see how he does, but I really feel like Manhertz and Ian Thomas will get a good share of the touches, but I'm really concerned for Ian Thomas. I feel like this has to be his year. This has to be his year on offense. I'm not saying he has to be the highest, producing player, but he's got to be able to match that level that Greg Olson once was. Because Ian Thomas, well, he's been what 2 or 3 years. I think this is about to be his third or fourth now. So he's got to start stepping it up. Um, Now let's go to the offensive line. So they have projected here Russell Okung, Tyler Larson, Matt Paradis, John Miller, Taylor Moton, Greg Little, Dennis Daly, Aaron Montero, Michael Schofield. Now, the projected starting five that Mr. Newton had listed here are Russell Okung, Taylor Moton, Matt Paradis, John Miller, Dennis Daly. Um, well, me personally, I was kind of thinking maybe Michael Schofield over Dennis Daly, only because of the experience and the fact that. But then again, Dennis Daly, since moving the guard, I mean he's done pretty well since they moved him from tackle to guard. So I mean, I don't know. I just felt like Michael Schofield has the experience. I mean, Dennis Daly, I believe, is in his second year now. So I don't know. I would have gone with Michael Schofield. Me personally, I would have gone with a Russell Okung, Taylor Moton, Matt Paradis, um, John Miller, and Michael Schofield. That's what I would have gone through, unless they want to take a chance at putting Dennis Daly back at tackle. But I don't know. I really don't know. Like, this is a whole entirely different offensive line. So, I have a lot of high hopes that Greg Little, can bounce back, now that he's entering this season healthy. I would love to see Greg Little like bounce back and really produce. He showed a little bit of flashes when he did play last season. So I have high hopes for Greg Little, but this offensive line is good. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting, and it's going to be interesting. But regardless of who you put at this O line, this is going to be the key to success. But there's a lot of stock in Russell Okung, considering who we gave up for him. Gave up our best guard, Trey Turner, for him. So he's got the blind side. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. But I mean, they're keeping some good pieces on here that I feel like they can build good chemistry with. I hope Matt Paradis can have a better season. Tyler Larson's very versatile, can play multiple positions on the O line, including center. So, that's also an option. Taylor Moton, he's been getting better and better over the years. He's been getting better and better. Dennis Daly has been having some success at guard. Um, Michael Schofield, he played with the Chargers. Played every game. So there's the experience factor there. But but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the final starters for the offensive line end up being, and just how the chemistry will be. And that's it for the offense. Let's hop right on to the defense, starting with the defensive line. So they have 9 projected. Um, so Kwan Short, Derek Brown, YGM because his name is hard to say. Um, Brian Burns, Bravion Roy, Zach Kerr, Stephen Weverly, Effie Obata, and Marquise Haynes. Now, this is going to be very interesting because it'll. I expect to see a lot of rotation, but if I were to pick starters, definitely Kwan Short and Derek Brown in the middle. On the edges, I would have to say one, definitely Brian Burns. On the other, normally I would say Stephen Weatherly, but apparently YGM has been producing great in camp. So it sounded like YGM is going to get the starting defensive end position, that other position. And at the end of the day, I don't think you can go wrong with that. I really don't. You got a lot of talent on here. Um, I did notice no Woodrow Hamilton. I was kind of surprised at that, but who knows? I mean, with Bravion Roy and Zach Kerr, I mean, you got some strong guys in the middle, and I guess them keeping two extra DTs instead of 3. So I mean that's fine. Ultimately, that's fine. I just felt like Woodrow Hamilton was a little bit more experienced and more used to the system, but you definitely got a lot of talent there for the edge rushing defensive ends. I mean, with YGM, Brian Burns, you got Stephen Weatherly, you got Effie Obata, whose stock is little by little rising. Marquise Haynes, who's a hybrid, can also play some linebacker. He's got that edge rushing experience. So I mean, honestly, this D line has potential to be excellent. Whoever you have on there out of this group. I expect there to be some rotations, but it's looking like Kwan Short and Derek Brown in the middle, Brian Burns, and I guess YGM on the edge on the ends. But I don't think you can really go too wrong with this defensive line. I think you got some variety. I think you got some depth. I think this might be, what shines the most on defense. All right. Linebacking core. The linebackers. Their projection are Shaq Thompson, Tahir Whitehead, Jeremy Chin, Jermaine Carter, Adarius Taylor, and Julian Stanford. Hmm. Jeremy Chin. Although Jeremy Chin, he can play cornerback and linebacker. He can play that nickel spot. So, what's interesting is I was having a hard time trying to figure out where Jeremy Chin was actually going to start because it seems apparent that he's starting, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be in the nickel or as a cornerback. But it's sounding like the nickel spot is probably where it will be best suited for him. Or he can even play safety. So, but I think we're okay at safety. I really do. So, I think that gives Jeremy Chin an opportunity to kind of work his way in the nickel spot. Um, and apparently, word is Tahir Whitehead has been doing pretty good at the middle linebacker spot. So that's good to hear. They were saying him coming in that he was more of a run stopping linebacker and not too keen on coverage. But I mean, hey, if he's been doing good at the middle linebacker spot, hey, keep him there. Um, but for linebackers, I'm really thinking, out of a 4-3, Shaq, Tahir Whitehead, and either Adarius Taylor or Julian Stanford. Although Jermaine Carter does seem to be blending in pretty well. But then, if you got that nickel spot with Jeremy Chin, so I don't know. This linebacking core is going to be totally different. And with Shaq being pretty much the new leader of the linebacking core, this will be this is hard because expect to see Shaq and Tahir on the field a lot, but you got a lot of experience in Julian Stanford and Adarius Taylor, so that's something to think about. But a lot of attention and focus is being put on Jeremy Chin at that nickel spot, and because he's so versatile, you know, there's no telling if that'll be his spot or where else he'll be. But having his versatility will be a key factor, especially considering he's been doing good in camp so far. But it sounds like, according to this, that they're planning on Chen being in the nickel spot in order to prepare for a lot of three wide receiver sets, according to the article. So if that's the case, I mean, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense. All right, cornerbacks, specifically cornerback positions. They have projected Dante Jackson, Troy Pride Jr., Eli Apple, Stanley Thomas Oliver III, and Corn Elder. Now, the interesting thing about this is apparently word is Corn Elder has actually been able to do pretty well in camp. And with him having an edge because he can play the nickel spot. Another name that they mentioned in this article was TJ Green, was apparently originally the starter when camp started, but apparently Corn Elder's stock has risen. And Corn Elder's been on the team for a few years now. So maybe this is Corn Elder's shot. Maybe he's finally going to get a chance to really show what he can do and play that nickel spot. But only time will tell. But it sounds like he's getting some extra attention. Um, and apparently, Troy Pride Jr. has been doing great. Showing some playmaking ability. So, but yeah, looking at that, that's two rookies starting right there, and Troy Pride Jr. and Stanley Thomas Oliver III. Um, I know there's been a lot of mixed opinions about Eli Apple, but I mean, he does have the experience edge, and I know there were a lot of talks about the Panthers really needing to get some secondary help, but if they're not able to, I mean, I guess this is the best they can do. And if they're thriving with players that are stepping up and doing well, like Corn Elder and Troy Pride Jr., I mean, that says a lot. But Dante Jackson is looking like still the main one that they're going to line up the top receivers. That scares me, but I'm just really, really hoping that he can learn from his ways, be coachable, and just stay focused. Dante Jackson has the playmaking ability, but he just has to be focused and his awareness has to be on point. So he's going to really, really be tested because he's pretty much the leader of the cornerbacks. He's the guy. I know a lot of people don't like that, but he's the guy. Right now, he's the guy with the most experience on the team in that cornerback group. Just saying. But it'll be interesting to see what this group kind of looks like on game one against the Raiders. But yeah, Dante Jackson, Troy Pride Jr., Eli Apple, Stanley Thomas, Oliver III, Corn Elder. Looks like Corn's gonna get his shot. Looks like he's gonna get his shot. Okay, safeties. Safeties. Um, they got four projected. Trey Boston, Justin Burris, Kenny Robinson Jr., and Miles Hartsfield. Um, so of course, keep in mind Jeremy Chin can play safety as well, so do keep that in mind. Uh, Trey Boston and Justin Burris, I feel like are a given. Kenny Robinson Jr. is our rookie. Apparently, according to this article, Miles Hartsfield has been impressive as a safety, but also as a running back. Weird. And apparently Justin Burris has been a player that Phil Snow, the defensive coordinator, has fallen in love with. And with Trey Boston, the more experienced one of this group, who does well in coverage, but tackling he kind of lacks in. But it's looking like Trey Boston, Justin Burris, with Trey being at free safety and Burris being at strong safety, it seems. But I would like to see more of how Kenny Robinson Jr. does. And then, but yeah, I'm not really concerned with the safety position, to be honest with you. All right, and then for specialists, um, their projection is Joey Sly, Joseph Charlton, J.J. Jansen. J.J. Jansen's a given. Uh, Joey Sly, I mean, they said that he's, struggled some, and they brought in the other kicker. I can't even pronounce his name, but he came from the Vikings that can kick and punt. So, I mean, I was kind of thinking he's a threat, but you know what? I have faith that Joey Sly will be good to go by the season start. You know, I was thankful that they gave him a chance. I think in due time he will shine as a kicker. Um, like I said, he's no Graham Gano, but he's had his ups and downs, and he has a shot to be the main kicker, the guy. We let go of Graham Gano, so Joey Sly, he's our guy. I feel like he's our guy. Um, I think he'll do fine. Here's hoping, but I think he'll do fine. Um, and of course, Pilardi, he's out for the season. He had season-ending injury. That sucks. Pilardi was good. Pilardi was really good. So that really, really sucks. But and of course, J.J. Jansen's been doing the long snapping duties for a long time with Carolina, so that his job is safe. But it sounds like this specialist group is what they're going to go for. I just, I just have, I have a good feeling Joey Sly will be all right. I think he'll be all right. But but yeah, that's what I have. Those are my thoughts on this 53 man roster projection that ESPN staff writer David Newton wrote for the Carolina Panthers. I say it's pretty accurate, but give or take, a few things. But it's going to be really interesting to see what this final 53 man roster looks like. Um, when they do officially announce the 53 man roster, I'll definitely do a follow up video to this and give my thoughts on who they decided to go with. So yeah, um, that's all that I have. Let me know what y'all think about the projected roster that I named. Do y'all agree with it? Do y'all's projections match what David Newton's projections are? What do y'all think? Do y'all feel like there's a chance that we still get that cornerback, that secondary help between now and game one? Who knows? I mean, Carolina has 12 million in cap space right now, so um, oh, and an update with that. So the Giants ended up acquiring Logan Ryan. So he's out of the picture. But I'm still hoping for maybe the possibility of Akib Talib, or maybe they bring back one of the ones that was there last year, like Javian Elliott or Ross Cockrell. But who knows? But anyway, let me know what y'all think. Thank y'all for watching. This is Blitzball Champ signing off. Everybody have a blessed day. I will see y'all soon. Laters.